The run is on. Run is on. Yeah. Hey, Cleveland roots with a reckless style. Take so bold to the flagrant foul. House on the ice, Notre Dame pride. Wrestle and talk pop culture ride. From rich to Nate, it's full court wow. Sit back, press play, it's flagrant foul. Yeah, it's flagrant foul.
All right, welcome to episode 2 of Flagrant Foul. I'm your host, Rich, joined by my co-host, Nate. Pretty overwhelmed by the response we've had this last week, so it's pretty awesome. So, special guest today. I could not be more excited. Does not need much of an introduction, but I'm going to do it anyway. So, we got practitioner of the breads, a.k.a. Splato, a.k.a. Sanders, star center for the legendary Hoop It Up team, 3 wrestlers, and Brad, founding member, co-commissioner of the RFL, star player West Park Y, Sound Chasers, senior jiu-jitsu Pan Am competitor, senior U.S. track and field athlete, Highlands game athlete, Browns aficionado, and all-around American hero. Let's welcome Big Dave to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Please, everyone. I forgot
awesome.
that I didn't get the memo. Let me go ahead and put the fucking backwards.
Yeah, we only do backwards.
Maintain uncompromising uniform standards.
Yeah, we don't want to get fined by the league. But so welcome to the show, Dave. I'm pretty excited. We go way back. There's unlimited amounts of stories that we won't get into at the moment. But yeah, we got Dave on the show here, and we're going to talk a little Browns. So where do you want to start, guys? You want to start with the injury bug with Shedeur?
Yeah, let's just do that, I guess. Start from the gut punch, so most Brown fans are used to it.
Yeah, so I'll start this with saying, everybody stop reading every article on the internet because they're all bullshit. You go from like, we seriously have, it's going to be weeks. That's going to screw him up. He's not going to make the team. We're going to cut him to, he probably will play next weekend. So I'm erring on the side of the latter. I think it's, they're being cautious. I think the fact that they are being cautious with him speaks to, they probably think higher of him than I think what the media has given him. What do you guys think?
I think, we've kind of talked about this before. We've got, 10 pounds of quarterback in a 5-pound bag with all of the players that we have available that can throw a pass for the Browns. Shedeur had a fantastic first game. You guys have been watching him for years in Colorado. He is, I think he's got all the tools. I don't know if he could put it together yet. I think they want to bring him along slowly. I think this first couple weeks is a bloodbath for a brand new quarterback with a new offense, new offensive line, new offensive coordinator. I think it's it'll be smart for Stefanski to kind of give Flacco the reins for the first couple games and see what he can do with a good defense, and maybe minimize turnovers, maybe get some running backs going, and kind of do that Flacco ball that we got used to a couple of years ago, and then around the Miami Dolphins game when the schedule kind of loosens up a little bit, maybe send one of the rookies free.
Yeah, I got to think, that's game 8?
Yeah.
Miami, I believe. So there's still time to run the table from there and make the playoffs.
For sure. Absolutely.
Nate,
I feel
thoughts?
like in terms of the Shedeur injury, I think it was promising that he was on the field suited up. I know that they never really put a timeline to it, but the fact that he was there in pads ready to go, I don't think that it's going to be an issue. Hopefully you get to see him here in Cleveland play a little bit. I'd like to see him and Dylan Gabriel in the same game against the same team for the most part and see how they compare to each other.
Yeah, for sure. I'd like to see them playing with starters. I know it's preseason. I know we're being cautious, but it's just hard to evaluate talent with 3s and 4s that are trying to make the team, right? So it'd just be nice to have some experienced guys, particularly at the receiver and the O-line. So that's probably a good segue into yesterday's game when I talk about experience. Gabriel started off hot, didn't look great after, although I don't know if you can fault the interception with him. I don't know if you can fault the fumble with him. And then obviously they're playing the world champs as opposed to the lowly, pathetic Carolina Panthers. What'd you guys think of Dylan yesterday?
I think that first drive really gives you a taste of what you're going to get with Dylan. He's going to be able to make a quick read, throw an accurate ball. get into a rhythm, and kind of execute what Stefanski wants in a quarterback. He's got like I think he's going to be a long-term your basic fringe starter, long-term QB2, Chase Daniel type. Basically he's going to be the most popular guy in the Browns because he'll be a backup. I think with I think his performance yesterday, he started off really nice. Got some good effective running from the running backs. And then he had that dud where he threw the pick six, and the spacing was bad. There was receivers that were, didn't put their hands down. There were too many people on that side. It was just a dud play. But again, the quarterback's the one who's releasing the ball, who sees that and is like, you can either take the incomplete, take the sack, or you take that pick six. And that just it set up his whole rest of the game, and he kind of just fizzled from there. And then that fumble was, again, I was able to see the running back was he had both hands underneath, which isn't what you are really taught. But then again, the quarterback's got to get him the ball. I've been you guys remember I was a big Gabriel honk because of his year with UCF down here, but I never had him as a third-round pick. To me, if you could just flip, Shedeur with our third and Gabriel with our fifth, our expectations will be a lot more manageable throughout this experience as Browns fans. Next gen.
For sure.
I mean, as president of the Shedeur Sanders fan club, I think that those are Dylan Gabriel's fault, even though it probably wasn't. But I'm still gonna hold it against him because Shedeur did just fine with the same offense, pretty much. I don't know. I guess like he didn't have to make that throw. I mean, while the tight end should have left his hands out there, I mean, you can just throw the ball away. He didn't have to try to risk it and force something that may or may not have been there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that's good perspective from Nate regarding Shedeur. I mean, I'll be honest. I love the guy right now. Dave knows me well enough that I never go over the top and I don't overreact.
You're always
particularly
very
with the
even
Browns
about who you follow, and you're always very rational in your opinions. And
Yeah.
you basically go completely off fact and never get your emotions into it, which is why it's always entertaining to watch.
Should we do over under on me melting down in quarters or games this year? We'll see. Hopefully,
I just like
not at all.
the number of the game, and then we go like 5, and then we tease it up or down, and that's usually a good starting point.
So to that point, at the end of the day, I want an AFC North championship. I want to stop being the laughing stock. I want to go to the Super Bowl. I want to win Super Bowls, and whoever is good enough to get us there, that's who I want. Selfishly, I'm so tired of us getting kicked in the frickin' private parts for the last how many years. Like, I want a guy that he seems like he really wants to be there. He seems excited. The national media and fan base seem like they're gravitating to him. Like, I just kind of want that finally, I'm sick of it, especially out here being in Denver and having to, see how the Chiefs fan has had it for the last several years. I want that, but ultimately, whoever it is, I don't care. And let's be real, we need 3 quarterbacks. We need 2 guys that can play, and we need a third guy that can come in and not turn the ball over, because we're going to go through a lion's share of offensive linemen. That's just what we do every year. So disappointed with the fumble with Pierre. I thought he actually looked decent really yesterday. He had a couple nice runs. But yeah, I was a little surprised Dylan didn't play the second half, at least the third quarter, but I guess, he's coming off the injury.
Mm-hmm.
He had an up and down first quarter, so Kevin's trying to protect his head a little bit, so I don't know what you guys are thinking. Also, before we move on, I do not want to see the Browns run another reverse this year. Can we please stop? It's pathetic. So
you better prepare yourself for the Isaiah Bond reverse special. That's going to be 100%.
He's getting ready to be the new Anthony Schwartz.
Yep.
Come on the field to do a
Absolutely.
reverse.
yeah, it's pretty hard to watch. I can't take it, but also other observations I would say on defense. At least with our reserves, linebacker, secondary team speed. I think the phrase slower than molasses in January is is applicable here. It was pretty bad. There's I don't know. I think linebackers are going to be an Achilles heel this year.
And that pick six was like that dude was running through hummus trying to get to the end zone. It was awful.
I was like, did my stream glitch out? I was like, what? so slow, so incredibly slow. But I don't know. Otherwise, I think things are moving in a positive direction. But I just don't, without seeing starters playing in a meaningful game, what are we going to really know? I don't think those first 7 games have potential to be as bad as everybody's thinking they are.
I think our defense is going to be kind of like how it was a couple years ago when we had a pretty top tier defense. The Mason Graham kid's going to really make things easier for Miles, and then we kind of want to see who's going to get that defensive end spot opposite of Miles. I don't know if it's going to be McGuire or if it's going to be Alex Wright, who's able to play inside and outside. We're still waiting to see if Hall is available, but after that, we do have some depth issues, like you mentioned, at the linebacker and at the defensive back. And for a guy, a defensive back who played in college, Andrew Berry sure likes avoiding safeties in the last couple of drafts, man, especially this last one where we had some extra picks and we had some safeties that were available all over the place. Even the Makoba guy who had the pick 6 and then turned around and had a fumble, I was kind of wanting that guy with some open picks, and I think that was one of the Gabriel pick, or I don't even remember because I try to get rid of all drafts in my head, or else the PTSD just gets up in here, and then I'm not a good human.
You go back to the draft that was in Cleveland and our excitement for Northwestern's Greg Newsome, and then they come back and we get Jock out of Notre Dame, and then fast forward to now, and it's like I can't cover and my career might be over. So it's pretty upsetting from those positions.
Yeah, it's and especially now with Sunshine Swessinger at middle linebacker, all you can think of is like, man, it could have been just a brutal crew. And obviously the hope is that Owusu Koromora can recover, but back stuff, spine injuries, not just back injuries in the NFL. He's we're gonna have to keep our fingers crossed on that one and hope that we can come back for our repeat Super Bowl run next year, and hopefully he'll still be at the parade.
Yeah, that's the key. Back to back, going for it. Now, I got to think, too, we get down to 53-man roster. I got to think the Browns are going to be active, looking at secondary and linebackers, and some guys are going to either make the practice squad or, potentially come in and make the team after, week 1's game. So I guess we shall see. So moving on, more Browns talk. Couple legal issues. I know I was pretty vocal about speeding tickets and Judkin's whole mess, and lo and behold, in a few days, looks like he may be cleared, but we'll see what the NFL has to say. I don't know how they punish him without an actual charge. I got to think that the NFLPA will step in and be pretty unhappy about that. But thoughts?
I did a pretty deep dive earlier or late last night before I went to bed, and I found some stuff where if anything from the league is going to happen regarding Judkins, it's going to be...
Attention personnel, you have a visitor at the front door.
I'm not kidding it. It's going to be from the league. It's not going to be a suspension. It's going to be a probably some kind of counseling, PR nonsense. But, between Judkins and then the next, hours later, they signed Bond. It was just, or Bond got off, and then he was announcing he was signing with the Browns. It's just like, we have you sign these terrible people maybe to kind of get you over the edge if you're a good team, but we're just like a garbage team, and now we have garbage humans. It's like, guys, I sent the text. It's like Andrew Berry is collecting horrible people like Thanos' Infinity Gauntlet with just all these terrible people that we're going to end up rooting for if they score, because, hey, they're innocent. So
yeah, for sure. I got to hope, I don't know. Am I against selling my soul for a Super Bowl? Absolutely not. So I guess 100%. we're going down the scumbaggery trade, and we're going to see what happens. Nate, I know you were pumped about the Isaiah Bond signing. Give me a little.
We need receivers, and he's quick, and we don't really have that kind of speed. receivers, so I'm happy about that. Also, if Judkins and Isaiah Bond play good, then I'll be willing to look past the issues. I think Cleveland will as well, because the Kareem Hunt thing I always think back to, because everybody hates Deshaun Watson, but if Deshaun Watson won more football games, I don't think we'd be talking. Meanwhile, there's a video of Kareem Hunt actually kicking somebody in the head, and he scored a lot of touchdowns, so everyone loves him. So assuming they could play ball, I'm all for it.
I'll say this. There's been a lot of guys given a second chance, and they kind of shown who they are. Around I think, Adrian Peterson's one, Peckman, you could go on with guys. If there's been one guy that took his second chance and actually was a model citizen and appreciative, I would say Kareem Hunt. I mean, you haven't heard a bad thing about him. He's been an awesome team guy. The Judkins things, was the alleged victim, was it embellished? I don't know. Something happened and something changed. The Isaiah Bond one, without knowing a ton about the guy, seems different. He seems like, I know, young football players, again, destined to make a lot of money, always make excellent decisions. We know that, but I'm not saying that, but there does seem to be a little bit of potentially he might have been set up, and I don't know. I'm not saying the guy's an angel, but that definitely does seem weird. And the fact that they just absolutely are not moving forward with any charges seems a bit odd, but we'll see. Am I the judge? I don't know. The rat voice made an appearance.
One thing we've been able to see with Stefanski, though, is he could scheme the three of us open, playing wide receiver on his team. Give him a guy with elite track level speed, going past the, his charges that were, now thrown out. But, him as a prospect, he's got the gifts. He is not a highly developed receiver, but none of the speed guys ever are. It seems like we're able to get receivers to have good years with us. You know what I mean? Whether it's, Amari, whether it's Judy, whether it was, Tillman was showing signs, and I'm not a huge fan of the wide receivers coach and that development side, but they seem to be doing well. And, we just need to, if we can just get him a couple slants and a couple goes and get him the ball, I think that's going to be, I think probably the ceiling for the next couple of years is probably like a Darryl Mooney, where he's kind of like a short, fast receiver that can catch maybe 50, 60 balls.
Yeah.
And then
I don't know about using the three of us being open as an analogy, because we got a former collegiate athlete and then two folks, if you put electric blue spandex on an RFL field, we'll burn anybody in the league now, but you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
That's the truth. Well, last thing on the Browns I think, little fun. So after the joint practice this week, saw the linemen with some post-practice beers, and I got to say, I loved it. Just was a throwback to some 70s, 80s, early 90s characters of Major League sports. Some dudes being bros, basically, but it was good to see. I don't know.
Absolutely. That's I really wish that Joe Thomas would have been on the field for that, because he seems like a guy that could have some pops after a hard scrimmage as well.
Seriously. So we'll see. We got one more game, and then it starts for real. Starting to see what our team may or may not be. I, for one, am excited. I feel very calm, and think I'm going to keep it together all season, but we'll see.
Absolutely not.
It'll happen.
I give you till what is it, September 8th? Is that the first game? I give you to 1:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time before you drop your first F-bomb or throw a beer or kick a dog or do something. Some kind of
Why are we doing 3 passes in a row with the backfield we have? Kevin's got to go. I'll be flipping out by then, but whatever. But excited. We got some boys' trips in the works to catch some games this year, so should be a good time. So I did want to move over to some quick guards talk. They keep streaking. Don't seem to be gaining much ground, but I think the bigger story, Nate, I got to hear about this. $2 beers and $1 hot dogs? That sounds insane.
$2 beers before first pitch. So obviously you got to get there as soon as the gates open and drink as many as possible before the first pitch. and then dollar dogs all day. So I think
$1 throat missiles.
I think
that's
I got
dangerous,
I want to say 9 beers for the $2 beers and 4 hot dogs, and I was in shambles after that. Like the first 2 hours going crazy, and then spent the last 9 innings trying not to throw up everywhere.
Just flesh and nitrates.
I gotta say, the Snapchats of you with 4 unopened beers and then like just an armful of hot dogs clutched to your chest were awesome. Like repeated.
See, the
ones.
problem is they open every beer that you buy. Well, obviously, I'm going to buy multiple because I'm not trying to miss out on $2 beers, and I'm putting like beers in my pockets. They're just spilling as I walk. My pants are soaked the whole time.
You're like a beer hobo.
So you gotta do. I'm not paying $20 for a beer after the first pitch when I got them for $2.
Dave
So-
gets credit when Beer Hobo takes the social media by storm. That was good. But I know I sent him a message like, how's it going? And I just get on beer 6, a picture of 2 beers at his feet, and something like these 2 gentlemen waiting for me or something.
These 2 handsome gentlemen waiting for me.
I know we were talking about going to Detroit, but you will find no such price breaks in Detroit from what my buddy's a Lions fan. He's like, man, it is high rent to go pay for get some food over there. Definitely not like the Gardos Stadium or like the ATL Stadium, which is was pretty non-egregiously priced for a change.
That, I'll tell you what, in the future, I will go Browns Atlanta game again. That had so much potential to be amazing. So, number one, if we didn't have to last minute Nate in with 0 sleep and Dave wasn't out, rescuing the entire state of Florida, the hero. It was awesome. And we weren't dying the first night, but like the vibe there was amazing. The price on the food. Oh my God. I mean, that owner is awesome.
Yeah.
Who goes and buys
that
four alcoholic drinks with a 20 and comes back with change at an NFL game? That's unbelievable. Yeah.
That week was just pure insanity because, like you guys mentioned, we had, I don't know, one of the hurricanes went through Central Florida, so I was literally like nonstop deployed, and I'm like, crap, I am not gonna make it to this event, and it's gonna suck. And then it just like kind of stopped on Thursday, and then on Friday I was only there till like 5, and I'm like, all right. And I came home and told my wife, and she's like, oh, I bet you just want to relax and sleep in. I'm like, well, actually, the trip to Atlanta is still on. She's like, you scumbag. And then we were off, and I remember, we went. We didn't even go that hard. We were just I remember how quiet all of us were at that table on the Saturday night because we were all. Nate had flown on 0 sleep. I was finally getting all the culmination, and then we had like something doughy and a bunch of beer, and I just gut bombs, and then we just passed out. It was awesome. And then spend the next day making sure Chris Hyatt had his shirt off the entire game and was talking smack to children.
I'll tell you right now, if that guy wears a shirt for this football season, we're gonna have an issue. He was responsible.
If he was smart, he would just
have
have a selfie of him with no shirt on and just add it to the chat every game. Hey guys, I'm ready. Boom.
I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear that you had to go to work. Have you seen what they can do with painted shirts these days? I'll accept you with a painted on shirt this year. But Atlanta, and then there was the I had to listen to 2 people with their Vader masks on all night as I slept peacefully in the room. So I'll try to fix the snoring this year for you guys. As far as you go, Dave, you were on CNN, so I would just be going with a screenshot of that going, yeah, I will be going on the boys' trip. Being a hero was exhausting.
And then there's a photo of me, helping someone out, and I was wearing a tactical pack, and my wife was like, tell me the truth, Dave, how many Sour Patch Kids were in that bag? And I'm like, I'm never talking to you again. Those were very hurtful words. 2 bags.
Oh my goodness. But could have been a great weekend, like I said. And then they had to take a dump at the end of the game. And that was probably top 3 angriest Nates I've seen.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Who was that scrub running back for Atlanta that all of a sudden looked like the second
Tyler
coming
Algier,
of Walter
I think
Payton?
it was.
Who was it?
that always happens to us.
Tyler Algier.
Yep.
You
I
know that happens to
Unreal.
us every time. Like when we went to the
Yep.
Jacksonville Browns game and Denard Robinson became the Hall of Fame Denard
Oh my
Robinson
God.
for literally 4 hours.
Unreal.
This is the most
For,
aggravating.
for Hyatt's 40th birthday.
Yeah, seriously. That was awful. But
What
so
about the scrub quarterback for Denver the second year we win? He's like
who was
third or
that?
fourth string, and
Something
then
Allen.
just
Brandon Allen? No,
yeah,
Brian
he
Allen.
smoked us. Whatever it was.
His last name was Allen. He
Yeah.
looked amazing. He looked
Wow.
the only one that looked better than him was when Russell Wilson looked like a
Yeah.
Pro Bowl quarterback against us.
The only good game from Russell since he left the Seahawks was happened to be boys trip
I
in
know.
Denver.
Unreal.
Absolutely infuriating. So anyway, well, folks, we're going to have Dave joining us quite frequently, so I'm not going to exhaust all of our good stories, but I do want to touch on legendary Hoop It Up, Three Wrestlers and Brad team, which, by the way, like, do they even do Hoop It Up anymore? It was like one of the single greatest sporting events.
It was a
Ever.
pretty cool setup how they would just find a downtown parking lot and then just inundate it with half court basketball hoops, and it would just be all basketball, all 3-on-3 all day. It was for someone as terrible at basketball as we were, it was still enjoyable. So, but I have never heard about Hoop It Up since like the late 90s.
Well, our last outing, which we quickly scrambled to Jimmy Buffett, I believe, right afterwards, but our team, Three Wrestlers and Brad, which was exactly that. I do have to brag on Dave's athletic performance. He hit the triple-double of, double-digit elbows thrown, backboards kicked, and ejections, which was amazing, but, we're playing in the couch potato league and getting dunked on, so that was enjoyable. But
Those guys were sandbagging. They were not couch potatoes. We were true couch potatoes in the sport of basketball.
I would have thought all of those pickup games at St. Mary's against the old men, we would have been more polished, but apparently not. Just getting posted up by McPhee. But crazy. So hit on a little pop culture for you guys. I did want to know what's in the playlists going on right now, guys.
Nate?
In the playlist.
Yeah, what are we
I'm
listening to right now? Uh-oh.
Whole bunch of rap. I don't know. Let me take a look here.
It's your guy.
I
Nate's
listen-
just
I like to
Todd
put
guy.
a playlist together of every rap song I've ever heard and then skip through it 30 times until I find the song I want to listen to. Instead of just removing the ones I don't like. I don't know. I'm a big Drake guy. I know that
Still
you
are.
like to listen to your share of J. Cole and try to act like you're a hype beast with all the rappers these days.
What acting is there? I listened to some Little Yachty and some J. Cole.
My point, exactly.
Yeah, throw a little country in there, little alternative, some metal. I've been on the metal since Ozzy left us, but I always like listening to DJ on Spotify so that he can I'm gonna take this mix of what you've been listening to and we're gonna see how about some Tate McRae? How about a block of Tate McRae? I mean, like, hey, thanks, algorithm. Listen to nothing
Thanks,
that I've
Algo.
said. So, yeah, it totally owes me.
My the last year and a half I've been listening to Swancore, which is anything from the album label of Will Swan, who is the guitarist of a metalcore band called Dance Gavin Dance. So it's pretty it's heavy, it's emo-y, it's got a guy screaming, it's got great guitars, great bass, great drums. So I've been listening to a lot of that, a lot of a group called Idolo, which is a little heavier. It's been kind of like I'm tapping back into my old guitar nerd days, only it's a little heavier. My wife
Don't let him.
hates
Dave was quite the musician back in the day. It was always enjoyable being in a band where the bass player could play everybody else's instruments better than them. That didn't make you want to just quit real quick. But yeah, I don't know. It depends what I'm in the mood for. So we will see. How about favorite sports movie?
Man. It's hard to get past Vision Quest because it came at such a pivotal time in my wrestling career. But you know what, man? Remember the Titans is just so tough. It's such a tough show, man. I do, and then once you go down the wormhole, then I'm like, you got to go Draft Day, even though the movie's complete ass, but it's like all Cleveland. But I'd have to say Vision Quest and Remember the Titans. We'll go with those as my.
I was
Probably.
going to say Draft Day.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was gonna go draft day just because it's all Browns. Like we don't ever get anything Cleveland, so the fact they made a whole movie about the Browns gets me pumped every time I watch it. I'm ready to run through a wall.
When we saw, the fam saw the Superman movie, I was like, boom, 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 boom. Gardo Stadium, Galleria, Arcade.
I don't know. Vision Quest is definitely up there.
Community
I'm gonna
Days.
get in. I'm getting into my beef on Vision Quest.
Mm-hmm.
So my first beef, and there are parts of that movie, like obviously the pegboard that's a great scene. The soundtrack is awesome, but the fact that they made
Loudon?
his mohawked friend in the movie.
Yeah, dude.
Why am I drawing a blank on this? But the fact that they made him the hooch,
Yes.
I think the scrub of the movie
Was that
drives
Matt
me
Dillon?
crazy.
Did Matt Dillon play that
No,
role?
that he does look like a poor man's Matt Dillon, but it's
Timu Matt Dillon?
Is it Schofling is his last name? He was also Jake Ryan in 16 Candles. The fact that May made him the wrestling scrub of the movie behind Forrest Whitaker and Matt Modine irritates me because he was the only one on the team that actually had a legitimate wrestling background. The dude was like a junior world team member. It was an absolute stud and was the one that actually could wrestle, and they made him out to be a scrub. That bothers me. And the fact that Loudon pulls the upset with a head and arm, that kind of bothers me too. But, said kitchen worker in the hotel, the old man that goes to see him, his speech on Pele, that's pretty dope. Like I said, the pegboard scene is pretty dope. I'm going to take a different direction. I like Moneyball.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know that it would necessarily say it's a tearjerker by any means, but it definitely, it's just a good movie. It's got some Cleveland ties to it, and I'm not going to get into the Paul D. Podesta and his Moneyball translating to the Browns, but I will say with that movie, that movie's pretty sweet. So, quick segue. I was told Dave has a good Ted Lasso take while we're talking sports.
Oh, yeah. So I was going to talk about Ted Lasso, but we, it is sports related, but I've been, I actually, about 6 months ago, I got into it and I started, I was watching it and I was able to, and I started this whole presentation about how the Ted Lasso, lessons about, engaging with people and respecting people and how it translates to leadership in the fire service. And then I built a whole presentation for that. And that's, it's going to start making its rounds at a couple conventions, I think. We'll see. But now for the next 8 weeks, I'm literally on days and I've kind of tweaked it to where I'm just teaching firefighters, about mental health tie-ins and some leadership stuff, lessons from the Ted Lasso show. So it's pretty unique. I hope that they don't find out that I'm airing bootlegged episodes as videos for as teaching aids for the show through this, but here we are.
Hey,
yeah,
I know.
Pretty cool.
Back in the day, my pop was teaching investigative techniques using the movie Seven. So you're not alone in using some pulp culture to do your work for you. So no, that's absolutely. So I'm going to defer to you two on this next one. We're not quite into Cavs season, and I'm a bandwagon Cavs fan. But I know you two are big Cavs fans. So I'm going to toss it to you guys for the Cavs talk.
I think I think the goal is to come out of the East. Especially with Boston looking like they may have take a year, a little rebuild or reloading the year, and I still think we match up well with Indianapolis. We just need DG to step it up a little bit more, especially against those teams. But I love that team. I love Evan Mobley. I think he's been hitting the weights. He looks like an absolute unit at 7 foot. I think he's going to take another big leap, and he's going to, he's the defensive player of the year. We got Mitchell, who's amazing. We've got, so many good pieces. We got, Allen for Ohio, who is, he kind of has his moments, but the whole team vibes so well. And I'm like, the only thing I just wish that, it's just it's a good team, man. I'm really happy for them, and I think we're gonna do well. I hope they make it to I would be anything less than the finals is disappointment for me, and I think they have a shot. That's not me, getting out of the realm of possibilities. I think they're definitely in the mix for the finals, or at least make it to the East. Would you
I
concur?
mean, I feel
Nate?
like they're like essentially the same exact team from last year that destroyed everybody. I think if Lonzo stays healthy, he's going to be a good piece to add. And then Boston taking a year, Jason Tatum torn Achilles, and same with Indianapolis, and I don't know why I can't remember his name. Tyrese Halliburton, he also
Yep.
tore his Achilles. So the East is wide open. I mean, I think it's like us and the Knicks, maybe. I don't see any way that we don't make the finals, win the finals this year. Then next offseason, we'll get LeBron, bring him home, draft Bryce, and run it back to Pete. And then we can have a combined Browns-Cavs parade.
Elite level parade. I'll just I will already start looking around for replacement livers on the black market for when that happens.
Yeah, you might want to. If you could buy in bulk, you might want to get us a deal on that one. But
Yeah, I'll
that would be it. So we've speaking of championships this year, so we're definitely all going to the parade. That's a done deal. And if they go to the Super Bowl, we're going. And if that means that we're sitting in a bar outside, we're going.
Yeah,
because I want to be there.
I'm sure going to like a Browns backers bar at wherever the Super Bowl host city would be.
So
would
it's San
just be
Fran, right?
really-
This year.
Yeah, so
Pretty
when we
sure
go
it
to
is,
San
yeah.
Fran, the Golden Gate Browns backers, I think is what it is. But yeah, we'll have our Chardonnays and some decanted reds afterwards, and we'll be good to go.
Well, I will be in San Fran the first week of October, so I'm going to scope out some places. So
Please do.
it'll be interesting. So last
sure
topic,
I'm sure the rooms would be
Okay.
very economically priced for
we're just
for
gonna
being
sleep
in
on
San
the street.
Francisco.
We'll just sleep on the street. We'll be fine.
Skid Row.
Yeah, why not? we're gonna utilize the Roman tortoiseshell for the sleeping system, so we can all have each other's back, right? So I know last topic I was gonna go at. Dave, this is an excellent person to talk to. So Nate having just finished his competitive career last year and moving into adulthood, that competitive fire never leaves. And I definitely did got into some of the open tournaments, and then I kind of threw myself into the coaching realm to kind of satisfy my sports competitive desires. Dave took a different route, and I think in the last almost 30 years since we have been out of ALHS 92 quad champs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. Davis did nothing but compete in just about any discipline you can think of. So thought maybe you talk about your path here. I know you've done, like I said, some Highland games. You've done track. You've done jiu-jitsu. I think you might have played or dabbled with some semi-pro football for a while.
Yep. I kind of came down from Ohio down to Orlando and just settled, and I really didn't do anything except work. And then I started running because I didn't have a car, and then I started lifting weights when I had a membership, and it just kind of blossomed from that. I got into pretty good shape right away, and then found out about a semi-pro team, tried out with them, got with them for a year, moved on, just kept working out and running, doing 5Ks, triathlons, going to Ironmans, got in shape to join the fire department, and that culture was of staying in shape was definitely helps, reason why I'm kind of still active. But yeah, I got into CrossFit after the fire service, and then that kind of sent me to strongman, to Highland games, to track and field, to that. And then after a while, one of my buddies at the station got into jiu-jitsu, so I kind of went into there, and that was been about 10 years ago, and I've done a bunch of jiu-jitsu tournaments. I've gotten my son's wanting to get into jiu-jitsu, so he got into it for about a year and a half, and that really helped him when he flipped the switch for wrestling last year, and he got pretty good right away. And he is, it's a good, and I still will compete. I'm probably going to find something. I just turned 50, so I signed up for Highland Games in December with the 50-year-olds because I got tired of getting run around by juiced up 40-year-olds, and I'm like, come on, man, it's old. But yeah, I'll probably do some masters track, being in Florida, there's a lot of active stuff. I just can't pull the no offense to my friends that play pickleball. I just can't do that old man shit yet. I just got to stay active. And, I'd coach wrestling if my son would let me, but he is definitely not looking forward to that. So we're going to hold off on that for a little bit. But yeah, I'll just, I think hopefully if, Lord willing, I will, and I stay consistent, I could, maybe get my black belt in jiu-jitsu by December. And then, then I can get punished by 50-year-old jiu-jitsu black belts some more, which is awesome. But yeah, it's been a good journey, and it's kept me active, and it's kind of tricked me into staying consistent, and it's been enjoyable, and knock on wood, I haven't really gotten hurt doing anything. So it will hopefully I can keep this career going for about 6 or 7 more years, and then just retire and be a full-time, athlete and cannabis smoker.
I love it. I love it. I love that you're still competing, man. I mean, I'm like, out here being in Denver. I think I've done about everything there is to be outdoor. We've done the paddleboarding and the kayaking and the bicycling, the hiking, just you name it. The fishing and not catching fish. Nate knows a lot about that. We've not caught fish in about every lake in the greater Denver area. But I do miss the actual competition. That's still a bucket list item. I'm hoping someday that Nate and I can go do the U.S. Open. I can coach him and he can coach me. Do they have like a U.S. senior, like a Masters Z division? It's like guys that have replacement hips and stuff. I would do it. I would love to get in one of those. I still want to do something like that. That's a pitfall though of open wrestling tournaments, I'll tell you. So they sucker you in. They go, oh, here's a weight class every 10 pounds, and here's an age division every 5. And then typically what happens, it's like I'm 50 in the 200-pound division, and they go, oh yeah, we decided to combine everything 150 to heavyweight, 25 and up. You got some dude that's like, he's a year. Yeah, he's a year off of being a second teamer at Wyoming. Just wants to come over and tear some old man's ass up for a minute. So yeah, that's always enjoyable. But I don't know, Nate, what are you thinking?
I would like to compete and do something at some point. I can't get back on the mat until December, but once that time comes, I don't know. I don't know if I'll do any wrestling tournaments, but I could be interested in doing jiu-jitsu. I don't know. I don't think I got the strength to wrestle any weights higher than probably what I'm at right now. I'm too fat, and I'm not interested in cutting weight.
I'm pretty lucky, and there's a class that we have, that it's at noon during the day, during the week. And it's like, you get your 25-year-old guys that think they're in the, in the octagon, and you just don't go with them. And there's a group of us where we're, 30 to 50, we're firemen, we're cops, we're construction guys, we'll go up to them and say, hey man, are you hurt? And we just kind of vibe with each other on that. And if we're both feeling good, then we go hard. And if it's not, then we just work stuff. And, just getting to the mat is a win once you're out of the athletic realm. So, as long as you temper your expectations and, most importantly, find a good group, and then you'll be able to enjoy it, long term, which is what I'm doing.
Well, I do know we've been trying to satiate ourselves with our competitiveness. With Nate and I have added a couple different wrestling disciplines. I am undefeated against him in all of them.
Not true.
The rule book has been questioned. No international official committees have unruled any of the decisive victories I have over Nate. He knows
the rule book was also written by Rich.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going strict NCAA wrestling rules, I'm undefeated. But if you're going his made up below the belt 5-on-2, then you can have all the wins.
Listen, it's unpleasant, but it is effective. I don't know. This is that beef I have with father and sons. This is a little advice to you, Dave, if you get on the mat with Ryan, that I always love. This is like 100% of the time. You go and you see these sons go out there and they listen to their dads, and they go out there, and sometimes they're like totally on, and sometimes they're out there and just kind of half-assing it or whatever. But you never see that when they wrestle their dads. Their dads feed them, they clothe them, they love them, just there for them all the way. But they wrestle their dads, you will never see them come at another individual harder. They'll try to kill you, wrestle you as hard as they can. Then they go out against complete, absolute stranger. Oh, hey, buddy. Great match. Great match on you. That was a great takedown you had. Meanwhile, your wrestling dad, he's trying to re-tear your ACL.
Working on your injured ACL.
Yeah.
If he's gonna be cheap, then I'm gonna be just as cheap.
So that's beef number one. The other one I have with fathers and sons, you go to these youth tournaments, all of a sudden, all the dads have turned into Sherpas. You're just like pack muling your kids' shit from mat to mat, feeding them, giving them water. Like they're all making, they all have NIL deals. They're all making at least 6-7 figures and all of that. Can you imagine that back in the day? You just toss in your bag and in your headgear to Mike. Hey, Pops, we're over here and I need water. Tell me how that would go.
That would be awesome. It's not. I can't tell you on these airwaves, but yes, it would. We can imagine that for sure.
I'm feeling like there's some exaggeration in that.
That is. There's zero exaggeration, and you know it.
Anytime that gentleman's mouth is moving, you can always account for some exaggeration.
What are you talking about? That's 100% factual. 100% factual.
Speaking of the sons that wrestle, it was Thursday night before this game, and Ryan's like, "Dad, come here," like all like worried, and I'm like, "What's happening?" And he's on the scale, and he's like super happy because he's finally hit 200. I'm like, Jesus Christ, boy's 15, and he's like a chiseled 200-pound dude.
Dude, he is
scary in his his costume Friday night, man. That was things are moving fast with the Coughlin family down here, man.
Dude, he's thick. I'm excited to see him for football and wrestling this year. He definitely is bulked up and put the muscle on, so for sure.
He's already like, well, since I made regionals as weightlifting, I think I want to not wrestle and just focus on that's absolutely not happening. Sorry, if you didn't want to wrestle, you shouldn't have wrestled last year because he got moved to defensive end. I'm like, if you need to be wrestling if you're going to be on the defensive line and as an undersized speed rusher. So. Sorry.
You're like, I don't know why you don't want to wrestle. They don't give varsity letters for doing chores.
I hate to swoop in like John Bonet's parents, but it's time to hit the mats.
All Nate can come up with in all of the years of us wrestling is apparently one time I took a PlayStation cord away.
No, we were talking about
literally,
this.
Nate has never been, nothing has ever happened to any kid from a disciplinary standpoint in history, like when Nate had to give me his PlayStation cord. That was the worst thing.
We were talking. Claire and I are like, yeah, when Nate was in high school, anytime he lost the match, I'd come off the mat, and this dude would be like, "You didn't try out there." Yell at me.
Give me that PlayStation controller.
That 100% never happened. Ever.
If I lost, I didn't try. That's a fact.
That's how it works.
If I was any more supportive, I would literally just be carrying you around from place to place, and you would never walk again. That's true. Okay. That's facts. Okay. Oh, it has been quite a father-son coaching journey. Let me just tell you that. But yeah, I look forward to hearing and seeing you with Ryan this year. It's going to be good. But
I'll send you something from his first scrimmage. It's not very good football-wise, but it's good wrestling-wise. You'll enjoy it.
Awesome. All right, fellas. Well, parting takes. What do you got? Anything? Dave, Nate?
Go ahead, Nate.
I don't know. I'll just say address the elephant in the room from anybody that watched last week. I know we had 15 confirmed listeners, so I had to upgrade the setup here. So camera might be a little clearer, and the camera's in a bit of a better situation. I see Rich over there has
potato cam
lower. He's hired the camera. We don't have to stare at his stomach posted up on the couch all zesty like he was last week.
I am very tactically positioned in this seat, so where
this
you will not see.
Trying to seduce me on the couch last week. We still need to work on the microphone. Every once in a while, I could hear you take a deep breath over there. I think we're about to lose you, but
Well, I am your father, so I can't do Vader breathing. Sorry. Yeah, I'll admit it. I'm gonna own it. I did adjust the camera. I was showing a little bit of a belly last weekend. It made me self-conscious.
Gotta give the people what they want.
It was a wake-up call.
That's probably why we had people watch it.
Huh?
They were coming for you.
Yeah, I feel like I've kind of let my athletic bod taper off. I was in training for some beer dye back in May. And I know that I've challenged a certain former teammate of Nate's in the September timeframe. So I do need to get my peak athletic form back. So it was good. I'm just gonna say it was a good thing. I shame myself into getting off the couch.
Whatever
It
works.
is what it is. Yeah, right? Whatever works. I mean, I go, wait, you watch another month. I'm going to be doing jujitsu. I'm going to be throwing cabers with Dave
Let's go.
down at the Highland Games. Just an excuse to wear a kilt.
Wear a kilt and drink. That's basically all it is.
You had me a kilt. No. So, well, thanks, boys. It's good having you on. This won't the last time.
All
Thanks,
right.
American hero
I
Dave
don't know about
Coughlin, for joining us. And we'll
Thanks,
catch you all
everybody.
next week.
Hopefully my presence will increase the bear viewing amongst your viewership. I draw very well with the bear crowd. I don't
love
know
it.
why. Weird. I don't know why.
Look, we will take all listeners and viewers. We're not discriminating. Sounds great. Nate,
Rich.
he's got nothing to say.
I don't know. I just said something.
So, all right.
We're
Well,
done here.
I see him in 2 weeks. We'll settle our hash then.
Godspeed,
All right,
gentlemen. All right, thanks.
later. Peace
See
out,
you on
guys.
Flex. Later.
See ya.
Combat beat kicks in crowd noise, racial blows.
And we're back. I'm not trying to make a thing of this, but was going to talk about the UFC fight last night real quick. So we had a Shamzat victory over Dricus. Looked pretty decisive. Sounds to me like fans are, a little bent. The style's boring. That's what you have. It's some of the grappling. I should say, I'm even going to call it like with the true wrestlers. I feel like some of the true wrestlers have a brutal ground and pound, and they do make an effort to, upgrade their striking. But some of the grappling we've seen from, some of the foreign competition, man, it's smothering, but it is boring. So, is what it is. And then, I was really pulling for Aaron Pico, sort of the latest wrestler that brings quite a pedigree in. Was hoping he was going to have a nice night in the UFC. Took a spinning elbow, knocked out in the first round, which seems to be a little bit of spinning leg kicks, flying knees, spinning elbows, fists seems to be wrestling's Achilles heel. So maybe we need to workshop that before our first fights. I don't know. Thoughts on last night? I know you didn't really watch much of it, but Bo didn't have a great last fight, and from a wrestling standpoint, I don't know, who do we got next coming up?
Yeah, I didn't really watch last night, but Bo is probably the only hope for the wrestling community to make it somewhere in the UFC. But I don't feel like the wrestling translates as well to the UFC, just because if you grow up wrestling, you got good takedowns, but then you still have to, you're not winning any UFC matches using wrestling moves. You still need to know jiu-jitsu, you still need to be able to fight. I don't think it's as helpful as a person that grew up doing jiu-jitsu or something like that. So
Yeah.
I think it'll probably be a while for Bo till he gets a well-rounded game.
Yeah, I still think wrestling's a good base. I think you're right. Jiu-jitsu probably translates a little better. I think in the past, historically, you've seen wrestlers' success because the jiu-jitsu guys didn't have the takedown expertise, but now you're getting a generation of guys that have added that to the jiu-jitsu game, and I don't feel like wrestling's the strength that it was. From a mental discipline training standpoint, those guys are great. They've been doing it their whole lives, but guys that have elite striking that come from a boxing background or a kickboxing background, they have that just years of discipline. And, it's just like with anything at a high level, you can't just make that up in a couple of years. These people have just just thousands and thousands of reps over the years. I do think wrestling translates a little bit better in the heavyweight division. I'm not 100%, sure why that is. I will say if you look at technical boxers and, Jake Paul is probably a good example of this. There seems to be more technical boxers in the lower weights than there are in the weights. So, I mean, you're seeing some of his opponents, say what you want. Kudos to the guy. He's made a lot of money and he's done a lot in a short period of time. You won't hear me knock on him, but I wouldn't say he's had just elite level boxers in their prime. And I don't really know if there are elite level boxers in their prime. So that from that standpoint and the jiu-jitsu standpoint, I think the wrestling definitely in a heavyweight category is, definitely translates better. But, there's some guys, Bryce Meredith, I think he's having a lot of success, on a smaller promotion, as is Jordan Oliver is as well. So there's some guys out there. I'm hopeful maybe you can see it. I think you're going to see in this next generation, though. I mean, there's some high level young wrestlers that grew up on the UFC in some mixed discipline that, give it 10 years. Who knows? We'll see. But no, it was an interesting card. I will admit that the UFC hasn't been super interesting to me in the last several years. Yesterday's card had some intrigue. Unfortunately, not the most exciting fight, but it is what it is. Just wanted to come back, hit you guys with that. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back with you next week. Peace out.
The run is off. Run is off. Yeah. Hey, Cleveland roots with a reckless style. Take so bold that a flagrant foul. House on the ice, Notre Dame pride. Wrestle and talk about culture, ride from Rich to Nate. It's full court wild, sit back, press play. It's flagrant foul. Yeah, it's flagrant foul.